Welcome back. We're back with another episode of Stories of the Board. We are on volume number 5, I believe. I think it's 5. 5. Volume 5. So, this episode, I want to talk about, I'm sorry about the traffic and the noise. I'm not mic'd up or anything, and I am outside trying to get this sun, you know? We're all stuck inside. I'm on day, like 483 of quarantine or something to that effect. Maybe not quite that much, but it feels like it. So going a little stir crazy, decided I'd get outside and get some sun. You guys enjoy the haircut. I've been cutting it myself, so proud of that. Anyway, board number 5, Stories of the Board. I want to talk a little bit about a skateboard that kind of has an interesting history to me. There was a time when I was showing at a gallery in Minneapolis, and a gentleman that owned the gallery, the first time I ever showed at this gallery, I had a painting up of, it was a portrait-based painting, and the gentleman that owned it actually said that my portraits were a bit on the flat side. He was giving me, constructive criticism. I mean, the guy wasn't really trying to be a jerk or anything like that. It was a constructive criticism. But he said my portraits were kind of flat, and he was right. I wasn't very good at the time at painting or drawing, for that matter, a portrait. Since I'd done it, but it wasn't something I was particularly versed in. And it kind of goes back to this idea that I'm 100% self-taught. Like, I've never taken a class or anything like that. I sort of learned to draw on my own. Anyway, he told me that, and it irked me in a way that I wanted to kind of learn and figure this thing out as I could. So I decided I was going to start a series of skateboards based on iconic artists that I had been kind of inspired by in my life. It was called the Icon series. And what I ended up doing is I ended up drawing just straight black and white style drawings, just one Ultra Fine Black Sharpie, and just kind of coming up with a list of people that I was inspired by that I thought were interesting. So I started developing a series of boards called the Icon series, which started with this guy right here. So this is Alfred Hitchcock. This particular skateboard, shadows, working with it. This particular skateboard ended up going on to, be drawn as sort of I was learning the whole process behind portraits. So this guy, this is a print. The original was sold to a woman named Wanda in Virginia. And Wanda's awesome. She's absolutely fantastic. Wanda and her husband are both nurses, and they're on the front lines right now, so I got to give them just tons of credit. Love you both. Keep it up. That's amazing. And anyway, Wanda bought this board from me and then ended up going on to buy the second one I did. And the second one in this series was actually Edgar Allan Poe. So I started off with Alfred Hitchcock, and then I went to Edgar Allan Poe, and then Wanda ended up buying a third board as well, not one of the Icon series, but more of an abstract one as well. So anyway, big thanks to Wanda for all of the support over the years. But this board in particular was drawn with a black ultrafine Sharpie, and I actually showed the board to the Walker Arts Center. There was somebody at the Walker that was doing like the store area at the Walker Arts Center. And she really enjoyed it and asked if I could commission that to sell it in the store as one of their Minnesota artists that has a product available for sale in the store. So as far as I know, this is the first skateboard ever sold at the Walker Arts Center as well, which I was pretty proud to see it there. The Walker here in Minneapolis is a pretty well-known and renowned arts institution and museum, so it was pretty cool to have the opportunity to work with them on something. Anyway, yeah, it just has a lot of, from an educational standpoint, which is more or less why we're doing this, there's a lot of things that are happening with this. If you notice closely, like my style tends to be sketchy. Like, I draw very quickly and loose, and then it tightens over time. It's a layering process. I kind of go basic shapes, and then I'll work myself into some of the more fine details. And this one's not even that great of an example, because honestly, this board is still very early on in the learning process of portraits and so on, but it does have good things like light source. As a matter of fact, oh man, learning moment. Our light source is clearly coming from this side of me right now. The sun is over here, it's beating the heck out of this half of my face, just like it's doing to Alfred here. This half of his face is in the sun, this half is in the shadows. So kids, as you're drawing skateboards, you always want to consider, where is the light source on that board? Where does the light come down? What side would be in the shadows and what side would be bright? When you start to learn that light source concept, it's pretty cool what can happen to your artwork. It starts to build value, it has depth, and it starts to create a lot more, just sort of a realistic vibe to it. So yeah, this is Alfred Hitchcock, board number 1 in the Icon series. Alfred is near and dear to me. I love this skateboard. This skateboard was really fun to do. It took quite a while. These portraits are some of the more painstaking drawings that I do. It's, as it gets further and further, as you get better and better at it, it just gets longer and harder, and it's a hard thing to do, but it's pretty cool, and they turn out really well. The original also doesn't have this black part on it. I ended up having that photoshopped, and then created like this for a graphic. So as it was reproduced, it's reproduced slightly different than the original board. The original is just drawn directly on the wood grain. The black sort of vignette was added in later on in Photoshop. What else can I tell you? Man, first copy, do not sell. This one's actually so old, it's kind of getting beat up. I treat this almost like an original because it's the last time I'll ever have this image physically in my hands. But it's a good teaching tool. I love to bring it out to schools and so on. I still, have ideas for the Icon series. That list of people that I want to draw is growing like crazy. So this one's been a lot of fun to make. And that's about a wrap. I don't know what else to say. Alfred, number 1 in the Icon series. That is Stories of the Board, volume, I already forgot. What volume? 5. Volume 5, Stories of the Board. Hope you're enjoying. If you would like to support the cause, I think on YouTube, the YouTubers, the kids tell me you gotta go like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Look at the shadows coming in right now. This is rad. Anyway, Stories of the Board, volume 5. Like, subscribe, comment, whatever, all that stuff below. YouTube, Jingo, Lingo, whatever. And then, hit up doradthings.net and buy yourself a skateboard. Get a skateboard art package for a friend. If you're in the position to do it, sponsor a skateboard art package for a kid. There's a lot of kids out there that would love to do this but don't have the financial needs to kind of get it done. So doradthings.net is the website, and let's keep creating. Say hi to Alfred. Peace.